Now, breaking news in the last hour. Essex Council has indeed lost its bid for a High Court injunction, all to block asylum seekers from being housed in the Bell Hotel in Epping.
Right, well, let's speak to our GB News Home and Security Editor, Mark White, who is here to tell us more. Mark.
Well, there will be a lot of angry and disillusioned people in Epping, there is no doubt. Although, to be honest, I don't think they held out much hope of a positive outcome from this High Court ruling today, given the ruling that was handed down in August by the Court of Appeal when they overturned the earlier injunction that banned the use of the Bell Hotel in Epping for use by asylum seekers. They said at the time that they believed that ruling, that earlier High Court ruling, had been seriously flawed in principle, and that has effectively been upheld in today's decision, which said that an injunction was not the appropriate means of enforcing planning controls. Now, we've had a statement through from the Home Office reacting to this decision today. They say, "We are furious at the level of illegal migrants and asylum hotels in this country. This government will close every asylum hotel. Work is well underway to move asylum seekers into more suitable accommodation, such as military bases, to ease pressure on communities across the country." The statement finishes by saying, "We're working to do so as swiftly as possible as part of an orderly, planned and sustained programme. This judgment allows us to do that." I have to say that this has descended into a bit of an unseemly row now between the Conservatives and Labour. We've had this statement through from the Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp. He says, "The people, this is a dark day for democracy, that the people of Epping have been silenced in their own town. Their council fought for them. Their voices were ignored. Labour lawyers fought tooth and nail to keep this hotel open, even after a migrant housed there was jailed for sexually assaulting a teenage girl." Well, in response to that, a Labour source has just said, "This is some brass neck from Chris Philp. If he wants to understand why there are so many asylum seekers in hotels, I suggest he casts his mind back to his time in the Home Office. He was the one opening all these hotels. Or perhaps he could ask the Shadow Justice Secretary, Robert Jenrick, who bragged about ramping up their use." Listen, I don't think that the people of Epping and elsewhere in the country really want to just see politicians indulge in this kind of, exchanging of cannon fire here over an issue that is so hugely important to communities right around the country. Remember, the Bell Hotel was the epicentre of these protests that then spread right across the country. It was that man, the Ethiopian migrant Hadush Kabatu, who had assaulted sexually a 14-year-old girl and a woman near the hotel itself, was eventually jailed for 12 months, was mistakenly released, and then, of course, eventually removed from the country. But that really focused the concerns of people in Epping and right across the country about the potential dangers of housing all of these young men together in asylum accommodation.
It's an incredibly pressing issue. And Mark, just before you go, is this the end of the road for Epping? I mean, what happens next?
Well, this was a High Court decision. They could go, Epping Forest District Council, back to the Court of Appeal again. But given the Court of Appeal's judgment on the original temporary injunction, I'm not sure they will see that as a potential move. It's possible they could go to the Supreme Court, but look, if they do that, they're spending many, many thousands of pounds that, as a local authority, they just don't have. They may decide that it's not worth it, given the way in which this decision that was handed down here seems to be very decisive in the wording from this High Court judge, Mr. Justice Mould.
Your personal data could be exposed right now without you even knowing it. And if you want it removed, use incogni.com/GB News in the description now and get 60% off an annual plan on us. Incogni reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information be deleted from their databases. And they'll keep sending removal requests to make sure your data stays gone. Sometimes your information ends up on strange, obscure websites that automated tools just can't reach. And that's why Incogni just launched their unlimited plan with a feature called custom removals. With this, you can submit any link where your personal information appears, literally paste in the URL, and their privacy team will investigate and work to get it removed. And getting started is super easy. Hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account, and tell them whose data you want removed. Grant them permission to work on your behalf, and then all you've got to do is sit back and relax. They'll keep you updated along the way. Incogni is totally risk-free for 30 days. If you try it, it's not for you, you'll get a full refund. So take back control of your personal data today with Incogni. Use our code GBNews at checkout via the link in the description, and you'll get 60% off an annual plan.
And let's return to that breaking news from this hour. Yes, Essex Council has lost its bid for a High Court injunction to block asylum seekers being housed in the Bell Hotel in Epping.
Well, joining us now is Branch Secretary of Reform UK, Epping Forest, Karen McIvor. Karen, this is very, very disappointing because I personally thought you might win this one.
Yeah, it really is. First of all, thank you for having me on. It is so shocking. I mean, my heart goes out to the family as always. You know, the wonderful people of Epping, the wonderful community in Epping. We have been peacefully protesting since July, and you know, it's just banging your head against a brick wall. It's why the government they had an opportunity here to show that they're listening to their people and that they're in touch. Instead, you know, they're not supporting us. They don't care about us. That's how it feels. And we're just let down again. And it's really worrying. You know, people in the community are worried. It's just, what next? You know, what next? It's just shocking. You especially today of all days, of all the days today. I mean, I've just come from an amazing remembrance service with the local community and the children. And, you know, I just don't understand the logic. It's wrong on every level. It's next to a school, which is why we've been peacefully protesting. There's trouble all over the country with these hotels, but this particular hotel is next to a school, and for some reason that doesn't seem to matter.
I think everyone can empathise with the struggle, frankly, that so many people in Epping have been, and it's been cross-party as well. I mean, it seems that there is not a single person, not a single local resident who actually says that this is the best place to put refugees, even if you believe that refugees should be housed on the public purse. And yet the government throughout this case has said, look, they do want to close the hotel. They want to close all of the hotels, but they want to do it in an ordered way rather than with sporadic legal judgments. What do you say to their claim?
Well, I think here they have an opportunity here to act and show that they are listening and, you know, close this hotel, let the rest of the country see that they are listening and they are looking to have a plan and make things better for everybody across the country. They could have just used us as an example, but they haven't, because you know what? They don't have a plan. And these people just keep coming, you know, and when you look at the heroes, you know, the heroes that we've been remembering today, you know, they sacrificed to protect us and our borders. And right now our borders are in chaos, and it's scary. It's scary for everybody throughout the country, and particularly, you know, I'm on today to talk about Epping. Because we have been like a beacon for the rest of the country. We've only conducted ourselves with pure dignity, and we've been peacefully protesting week in, week out. And it's just wrong that doesn't matter. It's wrong.
Karen, what now though? If this is, you know, you've lost the ruling, what are you guys going to do now?
Well, I'm not an organiser, but I fully support the organisers with their next move. I stand side by side with them, and whatever they do, I will be with them. But let me tell you, they will continue to protest. The protest won't stop. We have to have that hotel closed. I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand the legal side of it, but I imagine there'll be other opportunities to maybe try to further appeal. As I say, I'm not a lawyer. We'd have to have a lawyer lawyer on to confirm things like that. But we won't give up. We will continue to protest until that hotel is closed. It is wrong. It is next to a secondary school. And you know, God forbid anything else happens. God forbid. You know, the government have got enough stuff on you know, problems on their hands with this hotel alone. God forbid any other horrible things may happen. You know, it's just... I'm so concerned.
Karen, on that point, I've got to ask you, where would you lay the blame if something else happens? If, God forbid, there's another sexual assault, if there's another attack emanating from this hotel, would that be put at the foot of the Prime Minister?
100% the government, 100%. You know, the only way this mess is going to get sorted out is to have a change of government. They're not listening. They're not sharing any plan. They're not reassuring the people of the country. You know, they're just taking these people in every single day. We don't know who they are. The undocumented males that are in that hotel could be anybody, and that is our fear. You know, I've been on telly many times now talking about this. You know, women afraid to walk their dogs. We live in Epping Forest. It's a beautiful nature reserve. You know, ladies are afraid to ride their horses.